For those of you in the middle of breakfast, continue eating. For those of you who had finished, glad you got here early. To get started this morning, I would ask our chaplain, Mr. Frank Pounders, who I think everybody knows, but on the 10th of October, Mr. Pounders turned 90 years old.
And I want you to know that another fellow, a patriot, Ralph Gavel, and I share the same birthday. And as hard as I've tried to catch up with him, he still stays with me.
And he was 91, correct?
Dave, would you join with me? God, this is a joyful day for most of us, and we thank you for it. We thank you that you've given us the courage to stand up for what is right and good, to stand up for freedom and equality in this world, and to do something about it. And so we know that you bless our efforts, you bless our lives and our wives and our children in such a way that we will be always in your debt for the graciousness you have shown us. In the name of Christ, amen.
Amen. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alan Prather, would you lead us in the pledge to the Texas flag?
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And one of our newest members, Mr. Brent Harshman, would you lead us in the affirmation of the SAR?
We lead the descendants of the heroes of the American Revolution, who by their sacrifices established the United States of America, reaffirm our faith in the principles of liberty and constitutional republic, and solemnly pledge ourselves to defend and law.
Thank you. See, I told you it was painless. John Morton, in regalia this morning. I really don't think we need the Oklahoma fight song, but would you lead us in America?
Is that called pandering?
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Please be seated. This morning I want to welcome a number of good people. We've already heard from our chapter chaplain, Frank Pounders. He's also the state chaplain currently. We also have Tracy Pounders, who's the chancellor for the state. We have Gary Lovell, who's our District 6 VP, hiding in the back somewhere back there. We have a number of things on the agenda, but there's a few things I want to go through first. Some of the pass-outs that you got when you signed in this morning. Please take a pen and pencil, write down the date, January 14th. You're going to be hearing about this for the next 3 meetings. Our January 2020 meeting will not be on a Saturday. What a surprise. It's going to be on a Tuesday night, January 14th. It's going to be held at the Crown Plaza on Midway Road. And as we promised, this is going to be our 90th anniversary dinner. You're going to be receiving an official invitation, and it is for you and guest, friend, spouse, or whatever. I was told I have to bring my wife, so that's who I'm going to bring. Since she did most of the typing, she gets invited. But that's going to be hopefully the culmination of our 90th anniversary year and the kickoff for 2020. We have a slate of officers that are going to be presented in November, so we will, and we'll vote on those in December, and then we will have our installation of our officers at the same dinner meeting. Now, here's the good news. We've been able to keep the price of this dinner so reasonable you won't believe it when you hear it, number one. Number two, besides the celebration, besides the installation of the officers, we're going to have a very, very short meeting. Mr. Whitelock informed me it will be a short meeting. When you have a dinner and you have wives, you make it a short meeting, so I promise you we will do that. So write that down. You're going to hear about it next month. I'm going to be out of town for a few weeks. If anybody's trying to correspond or call me, it's going to go to my Dropbox because I'm going to be out of the country, but when I get back, I don't travel as much as Mr. Pedritas, but I'm trying to follow in his footsteps, you know? You got me excited, so I'm going to go to Italy for a while and I'll be back. Going to go to Italy, Greece, Turkey, not going to Turkey. Forget Turkey, not going there. I say again?
Just past Midlothian and Maypearl, Italy.
It's right down below Waxahachie, yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyhow, if you do correspond with me, it'll go in my Dropbox and I'll pick it all when I get up. Actually, I get back the Friday night before our November meeting, so I don't know what surprises I'll get, but I'll be ready to hit the ground running when I get there. Okay. This morning, our first Vice President, Mr. Mark Harrison, has been very, very busy. By the way, if I could, Mark's done a heck of a job this year with our speakers and our morning program, so I'd like to give him a round of applause if we can. And knowing you've done such a good job, I hope you do it again next year. Anyhow, I would like to have Mark Harrison come up here and introduce our guests for the morning.
Thank you, Tom. Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to actually have a musical program today. We're pleased to have representatives from the Las Colinas Symphony Orchestra here. The maestro, Robert Carter Austin, is here along with one of his musicians, Martina DeChenko. I hope I didn't butcher the name too bad. So they'll be coming up in just a moment. Robert is a native of Tennessee. He's studied very impressively at MIT, Cambridge, and Stanford. He's been in Texas since 1985, so I guess he's semi-native now. But he's been with the Las Colinas Symphony since 2000. And then I'll have him introduce his musician. Yeah. Robert, whenever you guys are ready.
We're just planning just planning a program.
Okay. Well, while they're doing that, I'll give them another minute. I was able to attend the BOM meeting last weekend and wanted to know that was really quite an experience. I really enjoyed that. That was my first one to go to, and it was for any of you new guys, if you ever have a chance to go, I would encourage that. It was great sitting in on some of the committee meetings and hearing some of the speakers. Are you going to stand or sit? I'm going to let you guys. Let's give them just a minute to get set up here.
We're all set. Hi, my name is Robert Austin, and I'm with an orchestra that has three names, actually. On Thursday nights, we play in Arlington as Symphony Arlington. On Friday nights, we play in Garland as the Garland Symphony Orchestra. And on Saturday nights, we play in Irving as the Las Colinas Symphony Orchestra. The brochure we brought you today is for Garland. I realize you gentlemen probably live all over the Metroplex, but we were closest to Garland, so you can use the same information on Thursday night or Saturday night. Garland's concerts, as I said, are on Friday night. Now, there are a number of reasons why we think you should take an interest in our concerts, but we'll get to that. First, we have a little Revolutionary War music for you. I suspect you might know one of these songs, but you may not know the others. And why don't we start with the one that they know? Oh, that's right, you're from Ukraine. Actually, we have 19 different countries in the orchestra. Marina is from the Ukraine, and she will start with Yankee. Play, and then we'll sing it with you after you play. Okay? Pick your tempo.
Okay.
There's no chorus. Da, 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 da. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
There you go. Now, oh, no, because she's just giving you the key. Are you ready? All right. Let's sing it in tune this time. Come on, here we go. Ready? And... Good enough. Now you make love. Now, did you notice that this authenticated version of the tune is not quite the same as the way we're used to singing it? Over the course of over 200 years, you know, music, like speech, gets gradually transformed, and while we still recognize the tune, it's still close to the original, it's not quite the same as what was sung back in the 1770s when I was in college. All right, we got a couple more songs you might not know. These are also from the Revolutionary War era. This one's called the Liberty Song. There you go. And our third and final selection from Greatest Hits of 1776 is a song you may know. It is a New England song and is titled Chester. So the next time you wind up back wintering at Valley Forge, you know what you can sing around the campfire.
And she could be there.
Well, no doubt. Well, she'll be back to play a little more music for us in just a minute. But first, I would like to, give a little pitch for our orchestra, which is really based on three things. The first is geography. Depending on where you live in the Metroplex, it's usually a lot easier to get to the Arlington Music Hall or the Granville Arts Center in Garland or the Irving Arts Center in Irving than it is to get downtown to the Mortar, much less all the way over to the Bass. It's simply more convenient. These halls are right in your backyard. The second is economics. And it costs more to park at the Mort Meyerson than it does to buy a ticket to the Garland Symphony Orchestra. For the price of a single decent seat at the Dallas Symphony, you can buy our season ticket of 8 concerts. So it's not necessary to mortgage your house to hear great music. You have my word on it. But in addition to geography and economics, the most important word I want to leave with you is quality. Our orchestra is a professional orchestra. Everyone's a paid career musician. And as I mentioned, they come from 19 different countries. We had an opening for a second violinist. I heard 40 people for that one position, and they came from 13 different countries that night. So literally, you're hearing the best musicians in the world. But you don't have to take my word for it. And after all, you know, talking about music, friends, is kind of like talking about kissing. You can talk all you want, but you got to try it, or you don't understand. So let's hear what I'm talking about. Marina, play us something non-Revolutionary War. What are you going to play? Tell me.
Bach
Bach.
Sonata. Okay. One movement from Sonata. Okay.
idea of how good this orchestra is, it's my sad duty to tell you, however embarrassing it may be to Marina personally, that she is in fact the worst violinist in the entire Las Colinas Symphony. Well, maybe only second worst. So this gives you some idea of how these folks play. You put together 93 people who play like that, and you have an amazing result. And I might add, there are all kinds of special benefits if you're a subscriber, because, you know, I'm like you, I'm a busy guy. I think, if I have a season ticket, I don't even know what I'm doing Thursday, much less what I'm doing in May. But if you have a season ticket, you never lose the value of your investment. If you have to miss a concert, you can bank the tickets and bring friends to another concert. Or you can turn them in for a tax deduction. There is never a way you're going to lose the value of those tickets. Further, they're cheaper than single tickets, and you get a better seat. Last but not least, we have something called the Gourmet Season Program. Obviously, the people who go to symphony orchestras have proved that they're better educated, have more disposable income, and are willing to go out at night. Well, that's the target audience for luxury restaurants. So some of the best restaurants in all three of our cities have joined us to offer special benefits to our subscribers if you come and dine there. It's very easy, in fact, once you buy your season ticket and get your book of restaurant vouchers, to eat your way to a profit. Which is what happened to me when I took this job with this orchestra. I was thin. I have pictures to prove it. But many seasons with the gourmet restaurant program have done me in. We have music really from over 250, 300 years. It's the best music of every era. But more about that in a minute. Let's hear a little bit more of that music. What, you got something else for us?
Yeah, just like the weather has been changed and it's cold now, so I decided to play short selection from Winter Vivaldi.
Oh, okay. Winter.
A little
For
bit.
Texas, this is winter.
A little bit.
Well, we've established that our orchestra in Garland and Las Colinas and Arlington is more convenient, cheaper, full of quality musicians, and has a great deal on restaurants. But I know that some of you are probably saying to yourself, well, I don't know about this classical music thing. You know, I survived those two pieces. That wasn't as bad as I expected. But what is classical music? Well, I'll tell you what classical music is. It's popular music that's so popular it's lasted for 250 years. That's what it is. It's the best music ever written. It's around for the same reason that Shakespeare and Dickens and Victor Hugo are around. This is the best there is. If you're not making that kind of music part of your life, you're cheating yourself. I mean, I was in Costco the other day, and they were determined that I was going to listen to Celine Dion, regardless of whether I was interested in Celine Dion or not. Now, she's a fine singer, but that's not a great musical experience. It's free, okay? And if you go through life only taking what's free and what's easy to acquire, you're going to eat a lot of Big Macs, but you're not going to get any steaks. I mean, let's stop and think about it, folks. Why is it that when you turn on the radio, they're singing love songs, right? Why don't they just read poems? Why do we have a national anthem instead of a national essay? And for that matter, when one of our colleagues has his 90th birthday, even though, let's face it, we approved earlier this morning that we may not be Mormon Tabernacle Choir material, what do when somebody has a birthday? We say, why? Why don't we just say happy birthday? Maybe it's because music has the power to reach past our conscious thoughts and our spoken words, deep into our hearts and souls, that nothing else can do. I work all over the world. I conducted in China, in Korea, in Italy, in Spain, in Colombia, in Brazil. Half the time I can't even ask my way to mentor. But the minute I sit down and start working with musicians, we can communicate because music is universal. It absolutely reaches every person and touches him or her. And if you don't listen to music that has the power, literally, to move you, you really are cheating yourself of a great experience. I'm so convinced that you will consider $1 invested in a ticket to our orchestra to be the best entertainment dollar you've ever spent, and I'm going to make a special offer. Now, don't pass this around. We don't give this to, Kiwanis or Rotary Ordinary groups, right? It works like this. If you buy a season ticket, and come think of it, next weekend is our opening set of concerts. You buy a season ticket and you come and you sit through the first half of the concert. You don't have to stay through all, just split the intermission. If you don't believe that this was a good idea, you're not looking forward to the season of concerts and saying to yourself, God, I never believed it could be so much fun. All you have to do is stand up and say, Robert, I want my money back. Now, I'm easy to spot. I'm the guy in the head waiter's outfit carrying the twig. And I will have my wallet in my pants pocket, and I'll sit it with you right there, cash. No checks in the mail, no, I'll see cash, right there. Now, I am pleased to say that although Marina and I have occasionally made this offer in the past, never once has anyone who's heard this orchestra ever wanted to get her money back. All they want to know is, gosh, what's the music for the next concert? I can't wait. Now, there you are, folks. It's nearby, it's inexpensive, it's full of fantastic musicians from all over the world, and you've got a money-back guarantee. I rest my case. But, not quite, because the real persuasion isn't my yakking or restaurant benefits or any of that. The real reason to come is the music. So, can we finish with one more shot? Rena.
Some popular music, is it okay?
Popular music's fine.
Yeah.
excellent. I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. We do have something real quick. Robert Marina, we really appreciate you guys being here today. We'd like to present you a certificate of our appreciation.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
This way?
And Marina,
I'm so sweet. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Over here, child,
yeah, I want you right over here.
they're putting you on their website.
Yeah, exactly. And we also have for each of you a coffee mug, as if you need another coffee mug, but from our technician. So we do appreciate you being here this morning.
Looking this way. One more. Now what you do with that cup is you go to the corner of the street. You set up the cup right there.
Thank you so much. And do
Thank you, our
appreciate it.
pleasure. Sure. Oh, sorry, is it okay if there are any questions?
Oh, absolutely, please.
Is there a question, sir?
Tuesday was Garland.
No, Thursday is out in Arlington. Friday up here in Garland at the Granville Arts Center, downtown Garland. And Saturday out at the Irving Arts Center in Irving, Texas. And the brochure that I handed out as exhibits for Garland, you can, however, by calling the Garland Symphony number on there, get tickets to either of the other concert series. So just use that number or the website. Yes, sir.
Now, if you get a season, can you spread it between the three locations?
Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, you can, that's another benefit of being a subscriber. If you can't come on a Thursday, they'll swap your tickets right out for Friday in Garland, Saturday in Irving. You can go any of the 3 nights.
That's great.
Did either of these two gentlemen offer their color guard service in case you ever had a need for an American flag presentation?
Well, actually, now that I know that's available, I think we may well put them into the performance.
Sure. Yeah, we'll march in circles.
Yes, sir.
Can you buy just, like, you want to go to one concert, can you buy
Single
tickets
ticket.
for just one, like, Garden?
Absolutely, you can buy a single ticket. You can also buy something called a flex pack. It's a book of 8 vouchers that you can use anytime. You can bring 7 of your friends and all come to one concert. Or, if you want to get away from your spouse, you can use 1 ticket to each of 8 concerts.
How much would a single ticket be, for, let's say, Garland?
I think they run from
Just ballpark.
no, I think they run from $16.50 to $36.50, depending on where you're sitting.
That's very reasonable.
Yeah, that's.
I like it. Try, as I said, try checking out what it costs you to park at Dallas City.
Very much cheaper.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all.
Thank
You've
you
been a
all.
very good audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Very nice.
Yeah, and you're welcome to stay, or if you need to go on with
I
her.
wouldn't sneak out, but thank you.
Thank you again, both of you. That was very, very entertaining. By the way, for those of you who are interested also, you can catch Robert's act tomorrow night at the Comedy Club, because he does a stand-up there for about 10 minutes. Before we get into some of the reports, Mark mentioned that he went to the BOM, just for edification for everybody. It's for the Board of Managers. Don't be turned off by that title. The BOM is truly an interim meeting between state meetings and your chapter meetings and anything else. And it's an update of what's gone on since the last get-together, whether it's state or national. And it really gives you an update of what's going on around the state of Texas. And it is a state of Texas meeting. We had, I don't know, of the 47 chapters, we probably had 39 of them represented. Now, remembering, we've got chapters that have 5 and 6 members way out in West Texas. And we actually had somebody there from Laredo. So we got a very, very good turnout, obviously, because it was here over in Arlington. But it was a good meeting, and we got a lot accomplished, and I'm happy that Mark could come. And I hope that the next time we have a BOM, by the way, the next BOM is, I forgot where it was. No, April's the national, or the state. The BOM next year is, we don't know. That's the one that's in question because it was going to, we were going to try and have it in Waco. And they have it in October. Well, Baylor football got in the way. There's no hotel rooms. So then we tried different dates and everything. Finally, they've settled on, they're trying to work it out that we could have the BOM at Bryan College Station. Oh no, how could we do that? Because A&M has an away game that weekend. There's hotel rooms. But it's good, I've been to a couple of them now and I really think it's great. The national, or the state convention next year is going to be in the Woodlands. And that's the 26th, 7th, and 8th of March. I'm definitely going to go to that because that's going to be a really, really good meeting. There's also a number of other meetings that we talked about at the BOM. Okay, I lost my first vice president, so I'll skip to Alan Prather. Alan and I talked this morning, need your help a little bit. He was spearheading the ROTC Good Citizenship situation back in March, April, and May. We've somehow misplaced some of the records. If anybody participated in any of those certificates, medal awards, or whatever, I don't care who it is, whatever you did, wherever it was, get in touch with Alan. We're reconstructing the list. Unfortunately, our bad. We didn't capture every single person that did it. But it's time to get those stuff done because at the same time he's capturing that, because I'm going to be working on the annual report when I get back, I need everybody in here who had any activity, any donation, any visit to a veteran, anything that you did in the name of the SAR of the chapter, record it and let me know about it. Because the very first record that I have to do for the annual report coming up in December is what we call the Stark Report, and that's driven mostly by the veterans. But there's other activities that we have, the Color Guard and the children's programs. All of those things count. Now, I've got to give some kudos to Nick and my friend Mr. Whitelock, because they're very good about recording what they do, what they give, and the time they spend. And they've both given me their updated sheets, and I really appreciate that because I put them in a folder and then I can transfer, my wife can transport it onto the computer. As you know, Jerry, I don't do computer, so that we can get the annual report going. But I really need your activities. And also, if you at the state level, when you were doing things, anything that you have there is going to be most helpful to us. Okay. Our secretary has had a machine crisis. His printer blew up. So for those of you who have not been able to see the minutes from our last meeting, it's a mechanical problem, not a human problem. You know, Tom is always on time and always ready. So, just hang with it. It'll be in next, we'll get it published and get it out next week. I think when you checked in and got your raffle ticket, Mr. Harper gave you a copy of the most recent financial statement. And let's see. Our historian. I've got to put these two together. When we were at the BOM, excuse me, Bob Clark, you snuck in and I didn't see you. Well, former chapter president, former state president, Bob Clark, thank you. When we were at the BOM, we had two areas of discussion about our chapter. Now, sometimes it's not good to have your chapter talked about. I was very proud of this one. We have had at least 4 chapters who have contacted me about what Joseph has done with the YouTube posting and the filming like we're doing this morning, and he's done every morning, of our meetings. And it's out there in such a manner that people can get on, and people do know YouTube and they use it, so they see our meetings. And he's broken it up so we have a segment on meeting and we have a segment on speaker or entertainment, and it's out there. So if you aren't using YouTube or you miss something in this meeting, go on YouTube. You got a lot of to-dos about that. I'm sorry I had to use your name so much. I don't know that I sold you any houses, but as long as I can get foot traffic, maybe it'll work. I don't know. The second thing was previous to the BOM, we had a District 6 meeting. I know it sounds like a lot of meetings, but it's really not that many. Our District 6 Vice President, Gary Lovell, called together the 3 chapters, he does this annually, in our district, and we discussed things of importance and improvement and what we can do better among the 3 chapters, East Fork, Trinity, Gus, and Plano. And there's a lot in common and there's a lot that we do different. The same thing about the YouTube came up. They were very, very interested in the technology side of it, and I said, don't talk to me, talk to Joseph. I don't do that stuff. But at that meeting, we also had an opportunity to talk about a program that we've been working on with our advisory committee. Mr. Richardson and Mr. Scanlon and Mr. Smith. And one of those programs that came out, well, 2 things came out of there. First of all, and I forget, this may have been a Richardson proposal, but he said we need to have a quartermaster/sergeant at arms. Well, guess what, Tom? We got one next year. Alan's going to be stepping down from the 2nd VP, but he's going to become our sergeant at arms. Now, he's been doing that anyhow, but it just thought we'd make it official. So there is something that came out of the committee that we can tell Bill when he gets back, hey, good suggestion. The second thing was, I've talked ad nauseum about the 54 people that we've inducted into this chapter in the last 36 months. And we got one of them here. So what we're not doing is we're doing a terrific job of recruiting. We're doing an outstanding job by the registrar and getting our applications approved, even with the hair pulling that he has to do with Louisville sometime. And I appreciate that effort, because I've met with the operations vice president up there and he feels your pain. Now he feels my pain, but that's another story. But at the same time we did all that, we're not bringing the recruits back to our meetings. So we started on a project about how can we do that, and Marshall Scanlon stepped up and he said, you know what? What we need to do is we need to have some kind of an orientation program where we educate the newest members about state, local, chapter, national, state, and chapter. So, as he learned from years in the military, God loves a volunteer. And he stepped to the plate, and we now have it's in its infancy, but we have a 41 slide presentation that talks from national, state to chapter. And it talks about history of all 3 areas, and it talks about a lot of the things about SAR that people maybe they didn't know when they were going through the application process. Well, he and I got to talking about it, and I was talking with some of the other chapters at the district meeting, and they said, Gary said, well, Marshall, why don't you tell us about that? And I leaned over to Marshall and I said, well, what do you say? Well, as shy as he is, he says, well, sure, I can give him 4 hours. So he stands up and he gave about a 10 or 15 minute synopsis of the levels of training that we're trying to go to and how we're trying to disseminate the information so you have a good feeling about the organization you belong to, the state organization you belong to, and the national. And we came away from that meeting with so much interest that when I got to the BOM, I had people coming up to me and says, well, tell me about your training. Tell me about your training. And I'm like, ooh, I'd like to, but really, Marshall's done most of the work. So we're going to get back to it as soon as I get back to the States. We've got a good start on it now. We're going to adjust it a little bit, and we're hoping, I don't know that November will be that, because I'm just getting back, we're hoping at the December meeting we could give a preview to the chapter of what we're going to be doing for new recruits. Now, we are going to go back we're going to go back the 3 years that we talked about, have a special meeting for the new membership so they can go through the training. And we're hoping from that, we can lead that to mentorship, grab somebody and bring them to a meeting, or pick them up and bring them to a meeting, and hopefully just continue to grow the chapter, okay? And I thank you for your work so far on that. Okay, got the historian, chaplain. Oh, Mr. Jerry Brown. Could I get you to come up here for just a minute? Minute. Well, it'll take you that long to get here, but that's okay, yeah. Yes. While at the BOM, I was called to the front of the group, and I was presented a certificate and a medal. And they're not mine. They were awarded in Costa Mesa, California at the National Congress. It's the Liberty Medal and Certificate of Appreciation for all the fine work done over the last year by Jerry Pinkerton. Would you please come up and accept your award?
Great job, man. He did this all because he trained me. That's why he got so good. Oh, you want that?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you, partner.
That's a pride, yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't tell you
How many last year?
Oh, last year
Was it 11?
had
Or
11.
this-
He's got 19 this year.
19 this year?
Yep.
Okay.
Most, well, you and I are the ones that got that 50 something.
Yes.
He was the registrar, at least the first year of that 3-year cycle.
Yeah.
And then between the two of us, we've gotten a lot of new people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that only one of them is with us today. No, got several of them
Oh, yeah, but
that are here today. These are
Over the
these are
last
part of
3
their
years.
story.
I'm part of it.
Yeah, so there's at least 4 of them that are here.
5.
Okay. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, although I got called up the front again. See, when you get to a meeting, if you're the person that's representing the chapter, guess what? You win. And I got called up by the state president, Mr. Temple, and I was given an award for Partners in Patriotism. Those of you who are not aware of it, that's the wreaths across America that we do in December. And we were recognized as an outstanding chapter for what we did in our participation, which needs to go on the sheet, and you need to give me a copy of your activities, because we've been recognized. I just got to know the individual activities you had. And spearheading that was none other than Tom Whitelock. So Tom, if you'd come up here, I'd like to give this to you for the chapter.
Flash.
He'll get it. The selfie, yeah.
Okay. You hold it all the way down.
You saying a video?
Yeah, I did. I'll leave it flash.
It's good.
Very close.
Again, thank you for working on that, Thomas.
We'll do it again this December. And likewise, we get points for partners in patriotism, for going with any military unit, such as the Audie Murphy Parade. Anytime that we gather with a group of veterans, in the programs such as the flag retirement and the like, we get points there too. As long as we're there participating, and that's why we need you to help in any cause that you come up with, so that Tom can keep going up and get certificates for him.
Interesting you say that. When I was at the National in July, we had been recognized for a number of things during 2018, which means we did them in 2017 and so on. But I was going through the motions of picking up the things because not everybody was there. And finally, Tom Jackson, who was the president then, said, why don't you just stay up front? Just stay up here. You got more coming. So that's when I brought back ribbons for Joe and for him and for everybody else. Okay, 'tis the season. Oh, by the way, membership. In Ralph's absence, I know that Tom has been taking a look at our membership, and I think we're fairly steady number. I think we're right now at 261, counting all actives. Now, the good news is that does make us the largest membership in Texas. We're still ahead of San Antonio. The bad news is we got 33 people here. So that's why we got to do training, and that's why we get mentorship and get some more people to our meetings. This is the season where the youth contests begin. Now, John Morton has left, but I'll go ahead and talk about OU anyhow. He's done a tremendous job over the years with the poster contest, and he's already told me that he will continue to work with the poster kids, not the poster kids, on the poster program next year. But we still need some people to help volunteer. It's a short period of time with not a lot of effort, because all you do is you make some phone calls and mail some flyers and then take receipts of phone calls or emails so that we can gather people that want to be in the oration contests, the essay contests, or last year when Marshall stepped up on the brochure contest. And I think we all will remember that through his efforts last year, we had a second place winner at the state in our brochure contest out of the Griner Arts Academy here in town. So your work is appreciated, and we do need some people to step up and volunteer. It's a short period of time. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's mostly phone work and mailing, because once you get responses from the schools on the dates and all the stuff is just, it's laid out in a format where the kids can look at it and do it. They call you, they let you know when they're ready, and then we will take a group and we'll get down. If we have to judge them at the school, or we'll bring them in here and we'll judge them in the back room like we do with the posters. But it gives us something that we can forward on to the state, which again is going to be at the end of March. For the good of the cause, James, since John is gone, anything from the veterans?
No, I don't have anything that for us, but I will say that I was at the meeting last week with a director and a few other people that are volunteers on the board, and he gave us a report on the VA hospital in Garland. It's progressing. They will open it probably a year from now, maybe, but right now they're trying to get some of the final contracts signed, and that will take 6 months to get it all ready and to move equipment in, and they think that they'll have it ready. You want to get into the details, they've got to get a new roof on there, got to get some boilers and things, and they're looking for contracts to get that done. But it's progressing and contracts are being signed.
Thank you, James. A lot of people didn't even know that there was a third effort being made on the behalf of the veterans and another hospital, which is going to be more local to us. And we talked about that a little bit, the BOM, but not to the detail that you made there. Do you have any idea what capacity they'll have when they're open?
they're going to have about 300 beds, and they're going to move a lot of the family or your assigned doctors to this area. They're going to move the optical department to this area, and basically they're going to move a lot of the routine medical treatment to this area. The operations and things like that will be there, still be down on Lancaster. But they also have said that in the operations they have done some robotic. They've replaced valves, heart valves, and one of the QVA hospitals has done that without opening the chest. And so they're doing a lot of really advanced surgery at that hospital, and it will stay there. Right now is the plans, but a lot of the other stuff will move to Garland if and when they get it completed.
Thank you, James. Glenn?
No, they didn't talk anything, and right now they're not planning any changes because people want to know they're going to change some of these out clinics, but they're not talking about doing anything like that. What they want to do is get the Garland, that Baylor Scott and White Hospital open. They're also dealing with, I'll get into it more, the offices there. They're going to have offices, and so they're going to have a large operation there once they get it, and it's the first time the VA has ever purchased a hospital. They started off wanting to build another one, and they got into the cost to build something comparable to the Baylor Hospital, and it would have been about 4 times. And that's what convinced them to move ahead with actually, I think Baylor's donating some of the costs. They're not talking about the whole inner workings of it because it's still up in Washington, but I think Baylor's contributing some of the cost for that. No, he didn't mention anything about that.
James, thank you for the update. I know one thing, as we move forward into the future and it eventually gets open, I know that that's going to be a great opportunity for this chapter and other chapters in North Texas to do more visitations and programs at a more local hospital. So that's good. I thank you for your addition there. Okay, I think we've covered all the chapter reports. Is there any old business to be discussed that we have not covered?
CAR.
The CAR. Anything you want to say about the CAR?
Children of the American Revolution, for those of you who are interested in assisting me in showing the SAR flag at CAR operations, you have an opportunity this month on October 27th at Fair Park called Family Fun Weekend, Autumn at the Dallas Arboretum. We will meet at the main gate at 2 p.m. for information on the activities going on. I know one of those is Butterfly Garden within the Arboretum. Go online and search for Autumn at the Arboretum. If you missed that one, the next one coming up is in November 10th. Sunday before Veterans Day, tour of the Texas Hall of State, also Dallas Fair Park at 2 p.m. Meet outside the Hall of State. Watch out for vagrants. Thank you.
Nick will be joining Robert Austin. They'll do a 2-man stand-up at the Comedy Club. Yeah, okay. I would say something about the CAR that, and again, this is going back to the BOM because there was a number of committee meetings and one of them talked about the children of the American Revolution. Along with other members of the Color Guard here, we've had an opportunity to participate in a couple events for the CAR. I know Mike Pedritas, myself, Tom, Jerry Pinkerton, Robert Kittrell. We go every spring over to the, what is it, the Provident School? And they have a colonial day. We've actually got some pictures of that in the color guard book that I've been keeping. And if you want to have a lot of fun, you go to one of these events. Now, this happens to be really upscale because all the kids are dressed in colonial wear, and all the teachers, faculty, and administration, they're dressed in colonial. And they're talking about history and the colonial days, and there's projects and all kinds of stuff. And we go, and we present the colors, and we give them a talk about our flag and our patriot, and it's just a great event. And that got me really going on the CAR. And then I was invited along with Tom and a few other people. We posted the colors in the spring at the CAR state convention. And of course, part of that was because Trevor Burke, our hero, was the outgoing president of the Children of the American Revolution. And that was a great time. We've got some photos of that. So if there's an opportunity sometime where we can interface as a chapter with more activities on the CAR, I guarantee you next year we're going to be able to do that. And for those of you who want to do that, I can tell you very quickly, it doesn't take a lot to be a member of the color guard. I bought a pair of pants and a shirt and a hat online, and it cost me less than $100. And the reason I did all that is because my patriot is a Minuteman. He wasn't like some of the other people around here that wear the officers' uniforms, because he wasn't an officer, he was an enlisted man. And so I dressed like a Minuteman, and it's not that difficult, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun, and you meet a lot of really good people. So anyhow, enough of that about the CAR and the color guard. New business, anything for the floor? Yes, Jerry.
I think somebody mentioned the BOM meeting recently.
I did.
One of the things that I failed to realize after being in this organization for about 4 years is when they talk about committees, I really didn't understand the power of a state committee. And I say that in the text of we have two state registrars, myself and Jack Mugley, and we take our genealogy committee and say it's to train registrars. Well, there's a whole lot of things that some registrars, past and present, would like to see changed. And didn't realize the power of a committee. The committee can just work and come to the meeting and make a proposal, and that goes right to a vote at the meeting. It doesn't have to be second, anything else is just a yay and nay vote. So, that being said, I'm going to try to push hard to reactivate the genealogy committee, which Jack Mugley dug into, and not too bad. Only 3 out of the 8 members of the committee have died. So there's still some alive, even though they're no longer active but they're on the committee, so we'll be changing. So that's my word about the committees.
Thank you. And you were not one of the 3, right?
No.
You were not one of the 3 that passed away. Okay. Just wanted to make sure, Jerry. Okay, well, with that, I think we come to...
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
with regard to the Dallas Veterans Day Parade, are we
Yes.
going to have an entry this year?
Well,
Yes, we do.
I believe that it's segue, isn't it?
here it is. It's time for the color guard. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, you're about I've already talked to all of the color guard, 2 of the color guard members right now, and they're asking, what is our place in line? Well, that comes about 2 weeks before the parade starts, which is on the 11th of November at 11 o'clock. So we do have a place. You don't know right now. I talked to Nick Barber, and he hasn't found there's something that he has to get advised on knowing. So that's the case. The other red parade, gives you information about your place in line.
When you're the ex-Dallas cheerleaders like we were 3 years ago, that was pretty good.
Hopefully you have a good place, it's like the third, 32nd, we can go to 30 entries right now.
134.
134 entries. So we can get it to the top of it. We will have a trailer for those that have foot problems. And anyway, that's the report.
Any other activities?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Of course, things do come up.
Yes, they do. Okay.
So,
Well, I know you'll keep us informed. By the way, Mike, good segue. That was good. You've done that. You must have been the president one time. Yeah. Okay. By the way, when you said that you were in line with the Dallas cheerleaders, is that the time they didn't find you for 3 days?
could have been.
Could have been. Okay. All right. All righty. Enough levity. How about, let's get some serious. How about door prizes? Let me get this off of here.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Yes. While we're getting that together, whenever we do have a birthday boy here, and we all have a birthday, but this time, I'm looking at time.
You know what? You beat us to it, but I'm going to let you lead it for the birthday boy.
Okay, years. It's 90 years. And as we also know, Ralph McDowell turned 91 on Thursday, but also on Thursday,
David Temple.
The president did not turn 91.
Now, he was 86. Yes.
We all joined together and for our birthday boys. Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Frank. Happy birthday to you. You're welcome.
I'm 35.
I just got corrected. David Temple was 69. I was wrong. Okay, all right. Well, how about some numbers? Here we go. How about 520? Got one. Okay, Chalmers. How about 566? How about 607? Look at that. All right. How many do we have? 7. Okay, got 2. How about 517? All right, Tom. How about 608? No takers. Oh, how about 609? All right, James. How about 570? Five, 6, 9. All right, Mark. Okay, that's 5. Need a couple more. How about 573? How about it? Show up and win. I like that. And the last one, 518. All right.
Not only 30 people showed up, Tom, you're not over 100 numbers.
Okay. All righty, if you would all stand, I'd like Frank Pounders, our birthday boy, to give us a benediction.
Patriots, I'd like for you to recognize that God has granted us to the recovering and the others are okay. Come, please.
God, we are living in this room, filled with enthusiasm for your work here on this earth, for freedom, for democracy, and for just the plain old goodness of people working together to make this nation, this world, a better place to which to live. So as we go, we know we're blessed, and we thank you for those blessings. In the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen. And would you, while you're standing, please join me in the refrain of the SAR. Until we meet again, let us remember our obligations to our forefathers who gave us our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, an independent Supreme Court, and a nation of free men. We are adjourned.